Well, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find any more corny PSAs. The closest one I could find was the Parents Guide version of Bicycle Safety Camp.
As you and your children have seen in the tape, Safe Kids Bike Safety, there's a lot your kids should know before they go off riding on their new bikes.
Yeah, can't work with that. So instead, let's look at some PSAs from Dragon Ball, because I was in a mood to do more, especially after recent events. PSAs and cartoons were all the rage in the 80s, from G.I. Joe to Transformers, He-Man, and so on. But those at least only show up after an episode ended. The ones we're looking at, Goku's Traffic Safety and Goku's Fire Brigade, were standalones and one-shots that aired once and rarely ever again. I first learned about them during the early days of That Guy with the Glasses, and I remembered them having pages dedicated to them on the Dragon Ball Wiki. Both aired on June 8, 1988, and featured the usual staff from the Dragon Ball anime. Even so, both of them are strange, even when putting aside continuity. Like, I can accept that these could happen anytime before the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, since that's when things get more serious with Tien and King Piccolo. Even with the Red Ribbon Saga, Dragon Ball was still mostly in its comedic phase, so these PSAs could fit in pretty well. But do they make use of the cast well enough to teach valuable life lessons? Let's find out. We'll start with Goku's Traffic Safety. It starts out with Goku crossing a log bridge in the mountains, but uh-oh, we got ourselves a bandit. He's a tiger this time, because the bear thief was probably not available. I mean, Goku could probably just jump over him. And look at this! The tiger goes to punch him, but Goku uses an afterimage to dodge and cross anyway. Then he spooks the tiger guy into almost falling off. He'll be fine. Maybe. Meanwhile, in West City, we see Krillin and Master Roshi heading to Bulma's place for a birthday party. They're both dressed up like they're heading to the tournament, even though there isn't one for a while longer. I mean, Krillin should know where Capsule Corp is. Oh, and if you couldn't tell from some of these subtitles, this is a fan sub since this didn't have an official release outside Japan. We then see this kid playing with a remote control car and gets it stuck on the road. He tries getting it, but then some asshole in a car nearly runs him over. Phew, good thing they didn't need to use their super speed to save him. We then meet this traffic lady, who looks like Launch in both forms, who saw everything. I love how even in the Dragon Ball world, where monsters and supernatural beings exist, normal traffic accidents are still treated as equally scary. Not that I expected a filthy animal to know how to drive carefully. Actually, he might just be a human who took a transformative drug. Maybe. Then again, that's only seen in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, where a drug that can turn human-type Earthlings into beastmen exists. This was meant to explain why we don't see as many animal Earthlings after the Dragon Ball era. Though at the very least, there are still animal Earthlings in existence, so it's not completely demystifying it. Anyway, Krillin asks the lady where to find Capsule Corp. Oolong is there cutting up onions, because I guess Bulma's making something fancy to eat. And she greets Yamcha and Puar, who are just arriving outside. What does any of this have to do with traffic safety? I don't know. Honestly, this just feels like a typical filler episode. I guess we get our PSA once Goku arrives on land, gets lost, then spots a little girl named Suno. He rescued her during the Red Ribbon Army saga, except she doesn't seem to be Suno. I guess? I mean, Goku doesn't recognize her even after doing this. See? An actual lesson to be had. No one can truly be Goku, but there are things you shouldn't do if it endangers yourself or other people. This is also a rare instance where a famous character is the one learning stuff, and that makes sense. Goku is a literal mountain boy with little exposure to civilization, let alone what a girl is. So he should definitely be the one getting the most out of these lessons. Anyway, Suno helps lead Goku to West City since she was heading there to meet her cousin. Goku seemingly blunders again, only to catch himself. Nom, what are you doing here? She also explains how if the light flashes green, you shouldn't start crossing because it's gonna turn red. Goku pouts, but this is how some accidents get prevented, even if it seems inconvenient. Back over to Bulma, everyone's wondering where Goku is. Turns out he is saving Suno's cousin, who runs out to the middle of the road while wanting to see her. Okay, not that it matters because this is an old fan sub, but if you weren't going to use Power Pole, you should have just called it the Nioibo. Though, I'm sure this is what they should have said.
I want the magic stick!
But hey, at least Goku has learned the basics about crossing the road. Traffic Lady takes him to Bulma's place and he eats everything. Bulma isn't impressed. Lesson learned. Never invite Goku to my birthday party ever again. But hey, at least Goku learned something. Oh, Goku, you're such a glutton. And then we end on a freeze gag with Traffic Lady saying, well, that was fun. There were some odd consistency issues regarding Suno and how this exactly fits in with the timeline, but it got the point across and that's fine. It's also short, which is just about what you'd expect from a PSA. Now let's do the other one. Goku's fire brigade opens at a playground where some kids are about to light some fireworks. Jump scare, eh? I guess Goku decided to train in the park because he hears the sound of fireworks going off. One of them lands in a trash can and... well, that's one way to get the kids' attention. Fire! Luckily, Goku arrives with a bucket of water to put it out. He then proceeds to reprimand the kids. You know how the first one was a good use of Goku in a PSA? Well, this is the opposite. Goku should not know anything about fire safety, especially when the only thing he knows about putting it out is from shooting an energy beam at it. Right, Master Roshi? I suppose it could be difficult to put Goku in a situation where he needs to learn actual fire safety, but if this is called Goku's Fire Brigade, maybe he could spend time with an actual fire brigade and learn how to deal with fires the proper way. How about having Krillin or any of Goku's friends serve as someone who goes over the topic? That way, Goku can be the clueless one who has to learn with the audience. Speaking of fire brigade, Goku is a part of it somehow. And so is Master Roshi, Krillin, and Yamcha. But how? I need to know.
父親がうとうとしている間に タバコの火が座布団に燃え移ったらしい。
怖いわね、タバコの火って。
Subtle anti-smoking PSA? Roshi also adds that leaving a gas stove on and unattended can lead to trouble. So is leaving a live clothes iron on a table or letting kids have matches. The kids take all this to heart and they end up applying this at home by scolding their parents.
ガスの元栓が閉まっていない。寝る前に必ず閉めよう、ガスの元栓でしょ。寝タバコはしない、させない、許さない。
あら。
生活の一部にしよう、火の用心。あなたです。火事を出すのも防ぐのも。
And then they were grounded for ordering them around. Those kids head to school and we get a glimpse at this apartment complex that Bulma seems to live in. And she brought Scratch with her. Except he looks nothing like the Scratch that we see on Dr. Breeze's shoulder. This one kinda resembles Poir, if he looked like an actual cat. Anyway, Bulma leaves the kitchen to go feed him while forgetting to turn off the stove and leaving a bottle of cooking oil nearby. And to make matters worse, an earthquake begins. Yeah, if you live in an area that's prone to earthquakes like Japan, her situation can feel pretty believable. The kids see the apartment fire and call 119, which is the Japanese equivalent of 911. And I guess Japan has payphones with an emergency button for making calls like this. The fire brigade comes, spot Bulma on the balcony, and prepare the ladder.
ダメだ、はしごが届かない。いいか。扉に開いた。
Again, this setup could have worked if Goku wasn't already part of the fire brigade. Right now, he's acting in a professional manner, and that's very out of character for him. He helps Bulma ride the power pole down to safety and goes in to get Scratch. Good thing Goku is superhuman and could probably breathe in the midst of all that fire. Goku, you better not be thinking of eating him. And yes, I am certain this is Scratch, because Tama is his Japanese name, and they use that for the fan sub. Anyway, Goku jumps out with Scratch, and the fire brigade hose down the building with water. Yamcha and Roshi even go inside to save people, and eventually the fire is out. The kids thank our heroes, and we end with a cover of the Dragon Ball opening sung by the kids, which was also done for Goku's traffic safety. This one is okay too. It was informative, though it twists a few things to make the scenario happen. I still think the episode would have been better served if Goku was learning alongside the audience, and maybe have the episode end with him being an honorary Fire Brigade member or something. That setup would even keep everyone in character, kinda like with the other PSAs. But at least the mainstream cast is not phoning it in when it could have, and the voice actors don't talk down to their audience. But 2 short PSAs aren't the only thing you want to see, right? You want to see some action from the Z-cast, right? Well, I have something of the sort, but it's not what you would have expected. Tune in next time for when I cover Dream 9.
焦る心を落ち着けて、もしもの時は119番